In the aftermath of COVID, New Zealand has a strong anti-vaccine demographic. There is a very loud minority of people who are very hostile towards vaccines. It is my view that there are serious discussions to be had about vaccine mandates. I think that opposition to vaccine mandates is in many regards an understandable position. But the anti-mandate movement was hijacked by anti-vax idiots. People who were not simply concerned about their rights, but were completely consumed by mindless conspiracism. People who were obsessed with anecdotes. People who seemed to believe that one case of a dangerous vaccine proved that all vaccines are evil. Every medication and medical procedure has occasional failures. Sometimes surgery kills people, but we would be idiots to be anti-surgery. Because it is not about a few anecdotes. It is about statistical realities. The statistical reality is that vaccinated people are less likely to get the virus, less likely to be hospitalized, and less likely to die. That is an empirical fact. 1,000 anecdotes do not change this. Misleading anecdotes are the bread and butter of the anti-vax movement. They use a handful of misleading anecdotes to encourage people to avoid effective medical solutions. And these ideas kill people. The unvaccinated die from COVID at higher rates than the vaccinated. When you promote opposition to vaccines, you are endangering human life. Anti-vaxxers are dangerous. The ideas that they promote have killed people. Anti-vax conspiracism encourages people to avoid the vaccine, and people who avoid the vaccine are more likely to die from COVID. The anti-vax movement was itself hijacked by cynical opportunists. This was seen in the plethora of anti-vax political parties. Freedoms, Loyal, Democracy NZ, the Leighton Baker Party, New Conservative, New Zeal. The list of anti-vax parties is almost as long as the list of non-anti-vax parties. These idiots split their own vote massively. They destroyed any possibility of electoral success by splitting their vote countless times. If you truly believe in your cause, this just doesn't make sense. If you think that the government is pure evil and must be defeated, why would you use such a failed strategy? Why would you destroy your own prospect of success so shamelessly? The answer is that the anti-vax movement was hijacked by a whole bunch of opportunistic idiots. Opportunistic idiots who wanted to lead and exploit anti-vax sentiments. Opportunistic idiots who wanted personal power and personal glory. Only this explains the ridiculous divided electoral strategy. At least some of them had the intelligence to join forces, but most of them did not. And they condemned themselves to political oblivion. Thank God for that. These morons promote deadly ideas. They promote mindless conspiracism and bad reasoning. They represent an intellectual rot. People who take anecdotes more seriously than studies. Pure stupidity. Criticize the mandates all you like. There is a reasonable conversation that should be had over the mandates. But the anti-mandate movement had its credibility destroyed by anti-vax idiots and opportunistic grifters. Not to mention the sheer stupidity of a purely oppositional protest. When you are only motivated by a hatred of the government, you end up marching alongside people who are even worse. You protest government tyranny as you march side by side with neo-Nazis and Christian fundamentalists. People who would make Jacinda Ardern look like an anarchist if ever they acquired power. And the gross hypocrisy of it. The right-wing idiots tried to insert all kinds of issues into the protest. They would speak about the importance of bodily autonomy, and then the evil of legalizing abortion in the next breath. The movement was hijacked by people with no principles. Take Brian Tamaki, for example. Anyone with a drop of common sense can recognise that Tamaki would be a tyrant if ever he acquired political power. He wouldn't be mandating a simple vaccine, he would be mandating a religion and a rigid religious moral code. The anti-vax movement is a laughable joke with no credibility, a dangerous and idiotic force that must be crushed. It should be remembered that many of its greatest victims are its own followers, people who endanger their own health with their bad reasoning and gullible conspiracism. It is important to remember that most terrible movements hurt everyone, including their own followers. The anti-vax movement is no exception. Countless anti-vaxxers have faced preventable deaths at the hands of the virus. Their ideas are dangerous and deadly. We should not ban them or crack down on their free speech. We should challenge them and seek to show them a better view.